Hello, everybody. I am Lela Witherspoon. Talking about myself, I live in Livermore, California, which is an hour east of San Francisco. I'm a full time art teacher working with at risk students, and I'm a mom and a wife. I graduated from the University of Northern Colorado with a BA in Visual Arts in 2007, and this is now my fifth class at SCAD, my second with Professor Matthews. And yeah, I'm excited to get back into it because I took a break for fall. And so this is the first studio course I've taken in a minute, and I'm very much ready to get back to making my own artwork. Taking a moment to talk about myself, I have to talk about the coolest thing that's happened to me forever. And that was just like 2 weeks ago. I got to see the 39th eruption of Kilauea, which is the active caldera on the big island of Hawaii, where I am from. And yeah, it was amazing. It was the largest fountain to date so far at 1,400 feet in the air. Bitterly cold, but wonderful and magical and a life-changing experience. Talking about my artwork, I am an oil painter. This piece is digital, but it's a self-portrait, and I think it's a good transition piece because up until this point, I had been working primarily in pure abstraction. And this was like a moment where I kind of took that abstraction and merged it with form, and like that kind of relationship between a representation of the body and that kind of inner emotion I'm trying to convey is kind of the current direction of my work. So this was a very big turning point piece for me. From here we have, this was my first kind of like self-directed painting at SCAD, and I love it. It's still probably my favorite thing I've ever done. And this is supposed to be kind of a moment of transition and transformation, uncomfortable. And this was uncomfortable for me. This is not what I thought I was going to be doing, but I had like a random sketch of this, and this is what my peers kind of pushed me towards in that class, and I love it. I'm very, very happy they pushed me towards that to try a sketch that I probably wouldn't have pursued. So I'm really happy that that's how things went, and I got pushed outside my comfort zone. And then this was the first drawing I did in my drawing course here, and it's probably the one I'm still in the love with the most out of the pieces I made. And it's essentially supposed to be telling a similar story as the last one of, again, transformation. This one a little bit more purposeful as opposed to a fall. It's like a head first, so to speak. And so these two are definitely the directions I want to take from here. And so I'm looking forward to continuing with these concepts. So in talking about kind of contemporary artists who are influencing my work, as opposed to like my favorite artists of all time kind of thing, Elisa Adamirovich is working a lot in abstraction, and I see a lot of my old abstraction work within her stuff. But what I love about what she does is this direct light source informing things, and it's very grounded in reality in a way that my pieces never were, and I kind of want to incorporate that into my pieces going onward. And then to completely counter that, Ivan Polkidyshev is somebody who was working with this idea of like this inner luminosity coming through, and that all of his work centers on these beautiful like lit up people, and I also really love that. And so again, so just light as definitely big things I want to play with within my work, and it's not something I've delved into before now. And so his work is also really informing, like, even though I want that realistic viewpoint, I also want this fanciful one. And then El Mishalka, what I love about her work is a lot of the reason I love Georgia O'Keeffe is my favorite artist, and that clear, concise, but slightly abstracted, like where you have beautiful gradients and simplification of shapes, but it doesn't lose its intensity, and it's very high contrast. And there's just a lot about Mishalka's work that I really, really enjoy and identify with. And I think because it reminds me of Georgia O'Keeffe. There's a lot of my current favorite artists. I love them because they remind me of Georgia. yeah. When it comes to this quarter and the direction I'd like to take my work, from a technical standpoint, there's just like some practical things I want to work out about. I don't like working on standard size depth canvases. I really love working with like gallery depth canvases that are super thick on the sides. I love how they present, but I haven't built any like that, and I'm also in this space where I'm working really long, and I have yet to figure out how to marry that. So then maybe I'm giving up on the gallery depth. Do I instead work flat and get them framed? And that's like a monetary thing, and so then I'm kind of torn about like just a very like practical aspect of the ground I'm working on. Conceptually, I have a lot of directions I want to take, and so part of me is not worried about the concepts. I look forward to being influenced. I look forward to critique, and I've got a lot of ideas and things. I'm really excited to see what everybody in class thinks of the direction I want to take my work. I also really want to focus on color. This quarter, I feel like I have kind of not focused on color for a minute, and I'd really really love for you to be extra critical of color within my work as we go forward. And I'm just really honestly mostly excited for critique this quarter. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to class.